Hi, welcome to the latest Tudor History Challenge where I get to challenge Tim. Now, one person didn't like these history challenges.
But that was me, I didn't like
They said that I should not deride you.
That's
that
okay.
A woman should not be doing this to her husband.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it too. I quite enjoy it. So this is to celebrate having 50,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for following what we do. We're very thankful and grateful. And I just love the fact that I get to grill you every so often.
And I don't know anything about Tudor history, and undoubtedly you as a viewer know a lot more than I do.
Right, so today's subject is sort of myths, legends and falsehoods.
Okay.
From the sort of Tudor period.
Okay.
Okay.
So
and
if I think it's true, it's bound to be the correct answer because it's bound to be a myth.
Perhaps so. Now, we might have touched upon these in previous ones, so that might have helped you. Okay, so number one. It was once thought that King Henry VIII suffered from syphilis, but which standard Tudor treatment for this infection is missing from his accounts and medical records?
Oh, I think I know this one, although that's a bad thing to say, isn't it? There is no record of him being treated with mercury.
Yes, well done. That was the standard treatment of the time. So, and we do have sort of full receipts and that, all of his medical things. And plus he didn't actually have the symptoms of syphilis either. So, well done.
Okay.
Okay. Number two. Some historical novels give Anne Boleyn a stepmother. Which Victorian historian misread a document and is kind of responsible for this myth?
Oh, and that's a really great question.
And we shouldn't criticise this person because they did an amazing job reading through the documents.
Is it Agnes Strickland?
Oh, well done.
Hey, that's good.
Have you been cheating? Are you looking over my shoulder?
I'm not. I can't see any answers down here.
Okay, number three. Bram Stoker, who is, of course, famous for Dracula.
Do I get an extra point for that? Can I have an extra point?
He only knows that because he met me at university and I was studying at university.
Good film.
I was studying the novel.
I know.
Okay,
I know.
right. Bram Stoker popularised a legend regarding Princess Elizabeth, the future Elizabeth I, regarding her dying and being replaced by a boy because the household panicked and because King Henry VIII was coming to visit.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
What is the name of the legend? And it takes its name from the place where it supposedly happened.
It does. You're asking some nice questions, actually. I'm quite enjoying these ones.
You've been listening to me.
If that's possible. Is it the Bisley Boy legend?
It is. Well done. I think Bisley's in Gloucestershire, isn't it?
Okay, it's a great story.
So, yeah, fantastic story, but no. Can I just say no?
I suspect it's not true.
I think someone would have noticed in all of those examinations she had to see if she was still of childbearing, she could still bear children when there were negotiations for marriage. They would have noticed, wouldn't they? Yes.
I think so.
Number four. Some people, not me, do not believe that William Shakespeare wrote the plays and sonnets attributed to him. Name any two people that are put forward as candidates.
Ooh.
So any two.
Because, they have...
And there are a few.
Yeah, there are a few, definitely.
So
In fact,
any two.
I mean, the sad thing is that I read a book about this, but it was probably about maybe 10 years ago, I suppose, I read a book about it.
And it was a rather bad book,
and
so we won't mention which book.
No, I don't remember who it was. The problem is I'm now having trouble thinking of who it was that was the candidate for it.
So any two.
Oxford, but who was he? I'm actually going to have to pass on that, I think. And it's really frustrating because it's like one of those questions when I go, nah.
Well, I can't really give you Oxford because there were a lot of Oxfords.
Yes. No, I'm going to have to pass on that one.
Well, you could have had the main ones.
Marlowe?
I mean, there are... What was his first name? No, I'll give you Marlowe. You can have one out of two. Christopher Marlowe.
Christopher Marlowe.
There are a lot put forward, but the main ones are Christopher Marlowe, Francis Bacon, William Stanley, Earl of Derby, and Edward de Vere, 17th Earl of Oxford.
The book
but
I
some
read
people,
was
even
Oxford.
people say Elizabeth herself. There are various candidates, but those are the main ones that are put forward. Okay. Number 5. This Catholic recusant and author of The Rise and Growth of Anglican Schism,
I love these questions.
wrote of Anne Boleyn having an extra finger on her right hand, a projecting tooth, and a large wen under her chin.
Which is where all of the myths of Anne Boleyn really come from.
Yes.
And now
it's not the only inaccuracies that he wrote. And he was writing in the 1580s.
How frustrating. These are good questions.
And he was trying to blacken.
Because the best kind of questions are the ones where you know the answer.
You do know, because I
curse
this man all the time.
And as soon as you say his name, I'm going to go, oh yeah. And I can't give you his name.
Nicholas Sander.
There you go. Oh yeah.
So...
Fail.
I'll give you 0 for that.
Mm-hmm.
0 out of 1. Okay, number 6. Catherine Parr is often thought of as King Henry VIII's nursemaid, and a boring older woman. Yet she'd been married twice before Henry VIII, and she went on to publish 2 works. But I'm not going to ask you for those, because I've actually asked you that question before. Who did she marry and have a child by after Henry VIII, and very soon after Henry VIII? She married just a few months after.
Was it one of the Seymours?
It was indeed.
Edward. No? No. One of the Seymours.
Oh, do I give you half? It was a Seymour. It was Thomas Seymour.
Thomas.
First Baron Seymour of Studley. So you got half.
Catherine Parr, very interesting lady.
Very interesting. But she didn't have much happiness with him, because she died in 1548, shortly after giving birth to their daughter Mary, who also, we think, died. So. Right, okay, number 7. We now know that Lady Jane Grey wasn't a feeble pawn just doing what she was told, and that she was issuing orders as queen right to the end. But as well as her parents, the Greys, which Tudor man gets blamed? And I'm not saying Tudor man as in he's a Tudor, he's from the Tudor period.
Okay.
Which man gets blamed for helping to put her on the throne and using her for his own ambitions?
Well, I like these questions, but I'm doing terribly at them.
He gets really black.
Stanley, one of the Stanleys? No?
Where were the Stanleys in all of this?
I have no idea. The Stanleys do various things throughout history.
But...
No, not one of the Stanleys then. I don't know.
John Dudley.
Okay.
Duke of Northumberland. So you get 0 for that. Number 8. True or false?
Oh, I like those. Get more of them. That's good.
Catherine Howard was attainted for treason for committing adultery.
Ooh. So is it going to be a trick question, or is it not going to be a trick question? I'm going to say that it's true that she was.
That she was attainted for treason for
yes.
committing adultery. 0.
No.
It's false.
Really?
She was attainted for her dissolute life previous to her marriage. The Bill of Attainder also made it treason for an unchaste woman to marry the king. So the emphasis was actually on the relationship she had with Derham, Francis Derham, before she met Henry VIII, rather than her secret meetings with Culpeper. Those were just seen as her going to be carrying on her dissolute life. And actually, both her and Culpeper, they both denied sleeping with each other, although they had the intent of doing that. So that was seen as treasonous. But it was more to do with her dissolute life.
Very sad.
So it is very sad. Because how could either of them known that she was ever going to marry the king? And poor Derham, he suffered a full traitor's death for it as well. Number 9. It is often thought, that Mary was the only live baby that Catherine of Aragon gave birth to. But in 1511, she gave birth to a baby boy.
She did.
Henry. Who lived for 52...
Do I get a point for that?
No, because I'm just telling you that.
Well, I knew that.
Who lived for 52 days.
I knew that as well.
But which dukedom was he granted in his very short life? Cool. He was Henry, Duke of...
Cornwall.
Yes!
Hey! I don't know why I know that. That's completely random. I could have had 3 points for that if that had been split into separate parts of questions.
Sorry. Number 10. Which myth regarding the birth of King Edward VI was promoted by the likes of Catholic recusant Nicholas Sander, who we heard about earlier, and Catholic apologist Nicholas Harpsfield? What
myths about his birth?
About a main myth regarding his birth.
I would say that I have never come across a myth again about his birth. Ooh. So I really can't guess that.
Well, I've written about it.
Well, that doesn't mean I know anything about it.
Okay. The myth is that during Jane Seymour's labour, which was very hard and went on for a couple of days or so, physicians asked Henry VIII whether, to choose between mother and son, and that he chose son because he could easily find more wives, and that they then used surgical skills to free the baby, i.e. that they did a caesarean section. Which actually is false, because no woman of that period survived a C-section. She would have died there and then, rather than living for 12 days after it. Yeah. It is not true at all. It's not based on fact at all. There's no evidence to back that up.
Haven't come across that.
Okay. Number 11. So 0 for that one. Oh. Number 11. Mm-hmm. True or false?
I like those.
50-50 here. Henry VIII referred to his fourth wife, who was...
Anne of Cleves.
So, you're not getting anything for that. As a Flanders mare.
No, he didn't. He didn't like her look, or he used that as an excuse. Mm-hmm. But no, that phrase itself was not from him.
Yeah, it's not contemporary. Gilbert Burnet, Bishop of Salisbury, who was writing in 1679... he said that Henry swore they had brought over a Flanders mare to him, but that is him kind of putting those words into Henry's mouth rather than Henry VIII actually saying it. It's not backed up by evidence at all. Anne was not from Flanders anyway, something that Henry VIII would have been well aware of. So
another interesting lady.
Yeah, she is. She's my second favourite wife.
There you go. Breaking news.
You're getting hot and bothered.
It's making my brain ache, so yeah.
Oh, you're using that as an excuse? Oh, the heat. Right, okay, number 12.
Go for it.
Some modern historians challenge the idea that Queen Elizabeth I's reign was a golden age. Why? What are the main reasons for them saying that her
Well, they'd already lost Calais, so that was not to do with that. I would suggest that she obviously did do, killings of various religious killings.
Yeah.
Much as Mary did.
Yeah, that is it. That's the main reason is due to her treatment of the Catholics in her reign. She started off her reign not wanting to create windows into men's souls, wanting to sort of people not interfere with people's personal faith.
But in the end she had to.
But when she was excommunicated and the Pope actually called on Catholic subjects to rise up against her and freed them from their allegiance.
So that was the reason.
That is the main reason, but there's also things like Ireland, the situation in Ireland as well at the time. So that the idea that she had
Can I have a point
glorious...
for that?
Yeah, you get that. Yeah. Okay, number 13.
Okay.
True or false, Anne of Cleves was rumoured to have given birth to a child by Henry VIII in late 1541.
Well, I'm sure that they made up all kinds of things, so I'm going to say true to that.
That's correct.
I didn't know it, but that seems like the kind of thing they
rumours
could
went
make
around
up.
so much that Henry VIII's Privy Council, they actually had to investigate it to squash the rumours, and those who were responsible for the rumours ended up in the Tower.
Wow.
So, yes. Okay, number 14. True or false? I'm being so kind to you with true and false questions. Elizabeth I never drew attention to the fact that Anne Boleyn was her mother. This is often said about her, that Elizabeth just, didn't want any attention drawn to the fact that her mother...
I would say that never is far too strong, that surely she must have done. So I'm going to say that she did at some point mention that Anne was her mother. So
it's false that she never drew attention.
I would, if that's the logic that works, yes.
Yes. Because actually she drew lots of attention. She used an image of both her parents at her coronation. So right from the very start, her coronation procession had images of her parents. She made frequent use of her mother's falcon badge. She supported the writing of treatises and biographies, such as that done by William Latimer on Anne Boleyn and George Wyatt's works. Works were being written about Anne Boleyn during her reign. She may even have kept an image of her mother in her locket ring, which obviously was a bit more personal, so that's not really drawing attention. But also all the portraits that we have of Anne Boleyn today are believed to date from Elizabeth's reign. So it is absolute rubbish that Elizabeth, didn't do anything to point
That's what I was going to say, all of that.
Yeah, you were.
I was going to say that, but you took the words out of my mouth.
You thought I'd do it better. Okay, number 15, final question. Contrary to myth, Edward VI was not a sickly child. Okay, we get this kind of, that he was weak and sickly all the time.
Only because he died young.
Yes, but which two illnesses is he recorded as suffering from at the same time in 1552, which may well have weakened his immunity and ultimately led to his death just a few months later in 1553?
Did he have tuberculosis?
Well, that is one of the things that he could possibly have died of, though that's not one of the illnesses.
That's not what you're looking for.
No, there's two illnesses.
But it's not strictly wrong.
That he had them at... No, it is wrong because he didn't have it in 1552.
Okay, well, I failed then, haven't I?
You can't think of either.
Did he have...
I did a video on it.
I don't think he had smallpox. Did he have smallpox?
You have to give me a definite answer, not...
Did he have
We could
smallpox?
go through he had syphilis, he had...
I don't know.
I will give you 1 point for smallpox, even though you weren't very clear about that.
Okay.
He had smallpox and measles at the same time, and it is thought that just did his immunity in, and then he couldn't fight off whatever he got in 1553, whether it was consumption, tuberculosis...
Well, I think you're being a bit cruel on that last mark for me there, but...
Why? I gave you 1.
Okay, I'll take the
You were
1.
going, did he have smallpox? That's not a definite answer, but I gave it you.
Thank you.
Right, shall we tot it up? So out of 17, because there were a couple of questions where there were 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half, I think.
Oh, I got over 10. That's brilliant.
10 and a half. I think that's what you got. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half out of 17.
Yay, high five.
That's not too bad.
How did you do? That was hard.
Did you do better than Tim?
I'm sure you did. Those were good questions. I enjoyed those ones.
Good. I like looking at the myths and inaccuracies.
That was good fun. Well,
and that's what I'm all about, is challenging people's assumptions and things that we learnt at school that have now been debunked, really.
And they keep coming around in comments and articles and endless.
Yeah.
One day, you'll get there. Thank you so much for watching this challenge.
It means such a lot to us to have this many subscribers.
Amazing.
So thank you.